We are, I think, the official first panel podcast of 3x Capital. Your
See, let me give you something also a little bit shocking, you can say.
okay.
Above 73% of the people who are buying from $15 million and above, which is the ultra luxury segment or the villa segment, they're buying it for end use.
If you talk about the built up, simple features, when you're talking about a villa, there are so many developers where they brand it as a villa, but the bedrooms are not en suite, for example, right? And there are certain, for example, let's say villas where the overall floor plan orientations, a lot of times I see 3-bedroom villas where there's no bedroom on the ground, and a lot of times families have reached out to me by saying that, hey, we have elderly people, we have
There are increase in the sales transactions because, and this is actually healthy. When there are no listings, this is why the prices are going high. Okay, so the villa market actually, in 10 to 15 years, with all these developments going on now, they want.
or should I buy an off-plan villa, let's say in a community, right? Your angle may be towards plots just as an investment.
That's a very good question. I mean, it depends. There's a developer. I don't want to name names, but let's say there's one developer that has a master community, and they're selling plots individually. They allow you to sell it once.
Okay.
So once a developer sells it to you,
Okay, we are, I think, the official first panel podcast of 3x Capital is starting. So I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Yash Kumtheku. I'm a senior portfolio manager. So I'd like to introduce Mr. Jabry, who specializes in plots and has been in Dubai, I think, for all of his life.
37 years.
37 years, amazing. And obviously Mr. Khalid, the guy with the numbers and data. I think it's going to be an interesting conversation. And obviously Ms. Sonal, our luxury high-end real estate specialist.
I thought you're the numbers guy.
Huh? Yeah, I don't like to compliment
So I took
myself,
this.
so that's why.
I took this title from you now.
Yeah, no. I mean, obviously,
I think
you're
as a
the
part of
veteran. You're the
3X.
veteran, right? I mean,
Wow.
you're the veteran numbers. But
As a part
Nah,
of 3X,
come
I
on,
think
man.
we all become
Yeah.
numbers people.
now we have to.
We do it that
We
way.
have to become numbers people.
Yes.
Every day
So-
you're making a report somehow. You just you turn to an analytical person by
No.
force.
But it's a good. See, ideally
Yeah.
the whole idea was to do a panel podcast to get your insights on the market, especially in the plots. Let's say what is happening, villas, waterfront, luxury. I think I was reading a report. So I think yesterday itself, we crossed overall in Dubai 433 billion worth of sales transactions by DXB Interact, real estate, commercial combined, and sales volume was also around 133k. And I think if you've noticed this number, this one report which is obviously circulating about the S-Pace report, which talks about the rental volume going down. But if you look at the report, the real estate transactions are also going up in certain areas. So I want to start, let's say, for example, Mr. Jabry, with you, with plots. What is your take on plots?
I think if somebody else should start first, and then I'll just come and continue. and jump
Okay.
in.
Maybe
About
Khalid.
plots.
See, the villa market, I'll tell you what has happened, right? A lot of people now are debating that the rental transaction volume, right, has dropped in certain areas. I've seen that the rental transaction value has increased. Even the sales value has increased. But is this due to, let's say, for example, people are now wanting to buy rather than rent, or outdated, let's say, communities are not getting that value anymore? Because in that report, I'll tell you what I read is you look at Meadows, Springs, Palm, Jumeirah, there is a drop in rental transactions year on year. But when you look at the newer communities which were handed over post-COVID, let's say Ranches 3, Tilal Al-Gaf, Muruj Al-Furjan, there is an increase in transaction volumes as well. And one of the interesting things was the overall increase in the rental value and the sales value in that report was on a positive side.
Okay.
So yes, rental transactions are dropping, but sales percentage are also increasing. So
See, let me give you something also a little bit shocking, you can say.
Okay.
From last year to this year, 65% of listings, especially in villas, have dropped by 65% listings. So
Okay.
just for you to be able to rent or even to buy, it's already dropped 65%.
Okay.
And I read an interesting report last week. It was showing that above 73% of the people who are buying from $15 million and above, which is the ultra luxury segment or the villa segment, they're buying it for end use. So they want to live there. See, there is now, like if you check, starting 2023, this is when the shift happened. Like in 2023, Dubai, that's the first year they dominated the ultra luxury market worldwide. So we got 434 transactions of $10 million and above. We surpassed Los Angeles, New York, Hong Kong, number one. And then again, Dubai broke this record in 2024, 435 transactions. And you know that multiple reports saying, including Knight Frank, that 70% of UHNIs, they're looking to buy branded residences in Dubai. The rich people, they're coming, you know. There is this year, I think that we are expecting 9,800 millionaires new to join Dubai. So all these people, they're buying for end use. That's why there are no rents. And that's why there are increase in the sales transactions because, and this is actually healthy. When there are no listings, this is why the prices are going high. Okay. So the villa market actually, in 10 to 15 years with all these developments going on now, there won't be enough plots to build expansive communities because villas, like it require expansive communities so that you can build infrastructure and those things. And it's not happening. Like after that, like I don't see, maybe in 2035, 2040, there won't be enough plots to do that in Dubai. So meanwhile, these are the last few years where people can invest in villas. When I see these numbers, they are healthy. When they are dropping in the transaction and the listings, and there are increasing sales, meaning that you are attracting end users just to.
You know, see, and I want to discuss with all of you guys. I have a very interesting take on this, right? See, villas in general, townhouses, villas, right? I think in certain communities, right, rentals maybe have dropped, obviously, because they've now been heavily expensive, number one. But the other thing is, see, I think right now in the market, I'm not trying to say there's an undersupply. There's a decent supply of villas and townhouses, and obviously with the off-plan market now taking over, almost I think every third developer is wanting to do either a 10 million square feet to a 50 million square feet community, right? And they are heavily launching villas and townhouses. I think the major shortage that we are facing is good floor plan dynamic size villas, right? When you talk about plot, when you talk about built up, see, a lot of times you may have a plot which is huge in theory, right? But if you look at the actual dynamics, your width is very small and your length is increased. It's a linear, let's say, angle, right? A lot of people don't like that. If you talk about the built up, you know, simple features, when you're talking about a villa, there are so many developers where they brand it as a villa, but the bedrooms are not en suite, for example, right? And there are certain, for example, let's say villas where the overall floor plan orientations, a lot of times I see 3-bedroom villas where there's no bedroom on the ground. And a lot of times families have reached out to me by saying that, hey, we have elderly people, we have a guest, we want a proper bedroom on the ground. A maid room does not suffice it. So I agree to some point that there's a saturation of very repetitive townhouses and cookie cutter units coming in. But there's a genuine undersupply of really good size plots, built up floor plans, I would say, right, to that matter. And this is where if somebody has to encash their money, this is where I see scarcity value growing.
See, you said I'm the number guy, so if I start speaking numbers now, I'm gonna be trapped.
No, but I mean, see, you definitely. I mean,
okay, see,
you should.
Let's take a look at the macro perspective. So the good floor plans and the non-good floor plans. Let's just look at Dubai in general. Now, as per the last official report, which is end of 2024, Dubai have 838,000 residential units in total, out of which 156,900 are villas plus townhouses. Okay? Which is already undersupplied compared to the market if you compare it to apartments. Now, the last official report that you can see from DLD and also Knight Frank quoted, from 2024 to 2029, we are expecting 300,000 residential units, out of which 17.4% will be townhouses and villas. And 17.4% from 300,000, this is 52,200. This is coming to the supply up to 2029. And why? Because in 2030, we are expecting the residents of Dubai to reach 5 million. Current residents, I checked the population clock on Friday, so 2-3 days ago. We were 3,997,000. Most probably now we are 4 million.
Yeah.
Most probably, okay? Now, if we are talking 2024 to 2029, now we are in 2025. So what happened in 2024? In 2024, 26,700 residential units were delivered to the market, out of which 4,800 were villas and townhouses. And if you want to know exactly the villas, just to remove the townhouse, the villas were around 31%. So you got 1,400 villas, 3,300 something townhouses. Now subtract that from the 52,000, you are left with 47,000. That's it, coming to the market. If you add that to the 156,000, you got 202,000 villas, townhouses in the whole market. This if everything got delivered. So this if the situation went as planned, no delays, everything is perfect. And if you want to take the villas, see there is a lot of, I don't want to go deep into the analytical part, but last year, since it was 31%, then out of the 52,000, if you just take that, they're going to be around 63 to 64,000 villas for 5 million residents. To put this into perspective, for every 1,000 residences, there are only 12 villas. Good floor plan, bad floor plan. There is room in the ground, room in the terrace. Good, bad, that's all in. So it is way undersupplied. That's why no matter, like even in most of the communities, villas, why do you see the prices are going up? Because it is so undersupplied, because only developers with real balance sheet can pull that off. It's very difficult. Like any developer can take a plot, make a building, sell 400, 500 units. But if you want to make a villa, then you need to build roads, hospital, mosques, utilities, facilities, which cost billions. So all these new developers coming to the market, they cannot do that. You only see the big developers doing it. It's not that they don't want to increase the supply. No one is coming over to provide such expansive community except few developers. So I believe it's very important for you also to take a good floor plan, because of course your rental return and your appreciation is gonna be huge if you are in the right community. But the way I'm seeing it in the market until now, at least until 2030, after that I don't know what's gonna happen. But until 2030, villas and townhouses, these people, they're in good shape compared to the current market.
Yeah, absolutely. One point which I'd like to add, and then I'll come to Sonal. This definitely, and obviously you're talking about undersupply, and which I definitely agree. I mean, in theory, let's say, for example, just to touch upon Waterfront, and then I'll come to you. For example, if you look at the Waterfront market as well, today we're sitting at 4 million, right? Government basically, predicts that every 4 years, 1 million of population will be added. So we'll touch 5 million. I say even take half of that. So even if we add, let's say 4.5 million, right? The overall Waterfront market, even if I take, let's say, Emaar beachfront, Blue Waters, which are established communities, and if I take a maritime city and a Rashid Yachts Marina, for now, right? On average, if you look at the supply, and I always say to investors that even if you consider 70-80% in that building is investors, right? They're not even end users, for example. They want to rent, they want to sell. Now, even for example, let's say something like a maritime city, on an average right now, what Beyond is building and what, let's say, other developers are building, overall supply by 2029 in terms of units will be almost 7,500 to 8,000 units in the whole, let's say, whatever has been launched till now, right? Okay. Let's say even 70% of 8,000, which is around 5,600 units, will be up for sale, some will be up for rent.
Yes.
right? And on an average, I always tell them that out of 5,600, right? On an average, if you look at unit statistics, right? So for every household, 4.9 residents move into that household on an average. Now, obviously, for one bedrooms, that's not going to be true. A lesser number of people will move in. But even if you consider, let's say, 5,600 units in terms of supply on that island, right? And you have 5 people moving in on an average, you can maximize it to 28,000 to 30,000, right? And your population will be almost 4.5 million. Now, in terms of percentage, right, as a supply percentage, this looks very small. Only 0.3% can actually absorb that, let's say, maritime city. But again, see, my point is right now, I think the market is in one way where we talk about undersupply, which is genuinely true. I also believe it. That's why I sell villas and townhouses. But now, just investing into, for example, a townhouse, right? Because of the theoretical idea of undersupply. Because I have a very strong point where I call it a PVP. It's a product value proposition that I've seen. I'm not going to name developers, but I've seen developers doing those cookie cutter, repetitive townhouses of very small plots and let's say built up. That is something where I don't really see scarcity. Okay, that is a good place maybe in terms of long-term rentals as well. You could suffice. But today, genuinely, I think the scarcity value proposition is not even just villas and townhouses, even in waterfront apartments.
Of course.
It is with respect to floor plan dynamics. Yes, overall sense of community, which I 100% agree. Not every developer in Dubai has the appetite to build, first of all, to build what they say. A render and a brochure always looks nice. I'm an architect, so I do render, so I understand the backstory of how to beautify things. Actually, I want to come to, Jabry on this because there are certain clients, yes, where the overall demand of the client and requirement may not suit. It's not like, a one shoe fits all. So in terms of plots, for example, right, like clients, for example, obviously now the client needs something ready. They're not going to wait. But overall plots, right, at least what I've heard, you can correct me if I'm wrong, in the last 2-3 years, even plots on something like a Jumeirah Bay Island tripled in price. Crazy appreciation happened. People are buying plots, especially a lot of my clients, towards the Jabal Ali hillside. There are plots obviously being sold in Palm Jebel Ali. So ideally, in terms of plots as an investment, right, where do you see plots in the picture? Is it good? Is it bad? Who should do it? Who should not do it?
Are you talking about a developer buying a plot or an
No, I'm talking
individual?
about a client, let's say, investing into a plot.
I mean, for a client, like individually buying
Yeah.
plots, I mean, Jebel Ali Hills would be something nice.
Okay.
Pearl Jumeirah
Okay.
as well. I mean, Pearl Jumeirah already hit that.
Hit that price,
Hit that price, like its highest capital appreciation.
Sure.
So I don't think there's any room for any more. But I mean, for an individual, I think buying a plot further south.
Okay.
Jumeirah Bay Island is in the middle.
Sure.
Other places are up further north.
Absolutely.
I mean, Jebel Ali Hills further south again. Jebel Ali, Palm Jebel Ali
Sure.
again, further down south. As an individual buying a plot to do his own, construct his own villa, these would be the best ideal areas to do it.
And in terms of just, let's say, pure investment, right? Like somebody says, should I buy a plot, for example, construct myself, or should I buy an off-plan villa, let's say, in a community, right? Your angle may be towards plots, just as an investment.
That's a very good question. I mean, it depends.
Okay. No, I'll tell you.
Me
yeah.
personally, I think I'd buy a plot and then construct a villa myself.
Okay. Because I'll tell you, see, like me and Sonal, let's say we're from India, right? The whole concept of buying land in India has been, yes, cumulative and, expansive capital appreciation, but it takes time as well. Yes.
Right.
I mean, forget the 2020 to 2024 globally, whatever, let's say, boom in real estate, but let's say historically, obviously our fathers have also bought plots. Now, obviously, the valuation has gone to a crazy level. The whole idea for people to buy plots is I acquire land, and then maybe in the future, if a developer comes to do a joint venture, or if, let's say, there's new infrastructure being built, I can sell it at a premium to somebody, right? In Dubai, is this ideally the same mindset that people use, or it's more of a short-term flip? Or
And now this is the thing now. So basically, before in the old days, you could buy a plot and then do exactly what you said. Probably flip it a couple of years later, maybe 5 years later or 10 years later. But right now, developers that sold plots, let's say the master community, right? There's a developer. I don't want to give name names, but let's say there's one developer that has a master community, and they're selling plots individually. They allow you to sell it once.
Okay.
So once a developer sells it to you, you can't sell it to somebody else. Either you develop or you do a joint venture. There are two developers I know personally that are doing this right now. People that bought the plots in the old days, like, okay, they want to resell it, you cannot sell it. Now either you develop or you're stuck with it. Then you have that 3-year term. You know which developers I'm talking about. So this is the thing now.
Them, but
You know, there's two in particular I know very well. They bought it, they can't resell it. I mean,
Why is
you
that
can
the case? Why
because
can't you resell
it's actually good because you know it controls I would say it controls. I mean, it brings stability. I would say to the market, you know, to the pricing, because a lot of people in the old days they'd buy plots, sell it to Khalid. 2 months later he'll sell it to you. 3 months later you'll sell it to Yash, increasing the price. Then you see like four or five plots down, someone is in need of urgent cash, he'll sell it for a low. I mean, there was too much fluctuation.
Yeah.
So now it's a good thing that I think that
Controlling the supply.
exactly, you know, so they sell it once from the developer. Khalas, you're stuck with it. Either you develop itself or you do a JV, which is better in my opinion.
Not only that, like some developers, and I think that's a good thing. They are giving them time to build. Like in Palm Jebel Ali,
3
you
years.
you can't just buy the plot and sleep on it, finding
Exactly.
someone to
Yeah.
buy. You have to build.
build
now.
it. I think in 3 years is
3
what.
years.
3 or 4 years.
3.
3 to
But
4.
man, those people. That plot, what was below 2,000 dirhams per square foot? Yeah,
Which one?
the Palm Jebel Ali plot.
But that was
From Jebel Ali plot.
Yeah, the plots that were sold
Sold
by
on Palm
Nakhil
Jebel
in
Ali.
Palm
You
Jebel
mean at
Ali.
the tip?
Yeah,
Yeah,
basically on the
the
front.
At the tip,
basically
yeah,
on the
yeah,
front.
yeah, صح, correct.
Just imagine in the tip of the palm, and you are getting it below two. There, these people that just take this plot, become rich, make a generational wealth for you and all your and all your family. That's it. It was really amazing.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, so
It's a good price.
I have a question. This is a shocking question, but I mean this is open for debate. Let's say right now, okay?
Just before that, I'm very
yeah.
sorry. You know that thing that Sonal said regarding this client. You know, I have an issue with Emaar.
Okay.
I'm studying them closely because like I feel that they're the best people who study the market. So if you want to study the market, study them. They made a move when they launched address in the Oasis. Man, like for 1 month I was studying extensively. I couldn't wrap my head around. Like they confused all my belief system in real estate. Like, excuse my language. Who in his right mind will take 100 million square feet to launch only 3,000 villas? Like, see, we say it from, like, yeah, it's nice, it's a nice opportunity. What I think about, why do they do that? Like, the only time they did it was Emirates Hills.
Yeah.
Amazing generation wealth, people made a lot of money. All the millionaires and the billionaires, they want to go there. And this is when I started studying what's happening in the ultra luxury market and how the millionaires are moving here, like Sonal's client. And there is nothing like that. So it was actually planned for 7,000 units, including townhouses. Then they dropped it to
3,100.
3,100. So like, okay, I made the research. I understood. Okay, these people are coming. They're looking now. The smallest villa, I think the plot is 8,300 square foot. You do not get anything smaller than that. Can you imagine? And then the second shocking part, which that one I couldn't wrap my head around and until I sat with Umran from Emaar and he told me, like, see, for example, when they launched La Vita, 55 million.
Yeah.
Same size of Hillsgrove. Hillsgrove is in 230, 240 million. If they launch La Vita at 100 million, the market will absorb it. Definitely. They launched it at 55 million. They came, for example, Jumeirah Island, 12,000 square feet plot. You know, a villa there. You will get it for 55 million. That's a steal deal. usually 60 and above. They launch address, same villa, branded by address, 25 million, 6 bedroom. We're making this community to attract the rich people. Why you price it that low? Like if you price it that low on this expansive plot, you're not actually gonna make any profit. And this is when when I made the calculation, I said with Umran, he said, we're building this community purely for legacy, not for profit.
Yeah, it's a legacy community.
So it will explain to you the pain that she's going through to find, because that thing is not existing in the market. And see, now when the market is maturing, I just wanted to comment on the townhouse part that you talked about. Now, if you go to mature markets, Singapore, New York, London, if you want to take a townhouse on a very ugly floor plan, the size of the investment it's not affordable for so many people. Why? Because the market is maturing. Now, Dubai market currently it is maturing. Prices are getting higher, margins are getting slimmer. These people now, if they just sit with these, ugly floor plans, when the market mature, that's gonna be a generational wealth asset. That one with the ugly master plan, because there won't be any. Either you get ugly, or you get the nice ones with 10x the price, or you get this one, which is by that time it will also go really high. So I'm not. When you said that the rentals now they are very high, I don't see that they are very high. It's calculated correctly on the current market, but townhouse, villas, anywhere you get them, if you can just hold. So if you don't sell in 2-3, if you hold it, it's gonna be a very good generational asset for you and your family, giving the way the market is maturing. So, yeah.
No, see, I look, in theory, see what happens is I 100% agree in the broader aspect of townhouses and villas, and genuinely the biggest trend, let's say post-COVID, I always call it was from, let's say, like a transit Dubai to a destination Dubai, right? Now
Yeah.
people are actually moving to Dubai. They're
Yes.
not just transiting in Dubai and going out.
Yes.
And one of the major waves was communities and villas and townhouses, and people in theory obviously made a lot. And genuinely, I mean, I've seen, let's say, if you look at Ranches 3, Valley, the Tilal Al Gaf, Muruj Al Furjan, again by Nakhil in Furjan, even the Mark Lagoons to an extent. Yes, people who bought obviously during the COVID time, and these new communities, they have made genuine money and genuine returns. I've seen transactions, even the rental yield on somebody who bought, let's say, ranches at 1.4, 1.6, they are making, yes, gross 10%, maybe net 8.59%. Now, obviously, if you have to enter that community now, obviously your rental is going to dip. See, but this is what I feel is, if you buy, I'm not going to again name the developer, they have a crazy, amazing payment plan, but the floor plan is really pathetic to a point. Because, see, at the end of the day, when you're moving into something, yes, I mean, families will like a 2 and a 3 townhouse, bedroom townhouse. They may not have the budget for it. But I still remember, I mean, even when in 2023, because I was dealing a lot in the secondary market with families, particularly families, right? And every one of them, whenever they go into a villa and townhouse, see, I think for families, community, yes, matters. Where you're staying matters. The overall sense of living in a gated cluster, a gated community, where you have 95%, let's say, of your needs taken care inside the community. You don't really need to go out, right? Your hospitals, schools, your malls, everything. But besides that, one thing which I'm really noticing now, and obviously with the influx of people coming over here, the influx of people spending money over here, if you buy a townhouse, right, in theory, and even if the market goes up, it will, for me, very honestly, it will be difficult to sell those units. I can't name the developer, but it's a recent thing where there's a lot of supply which has come, and genuinely I've got secondary agents and clients where there are particular, obviously, units which sold like this, but there are units which are still, selling, let's say, at OPs, they're still selling at these things. So I believe, yes, in theory, absolutely, I agree that holding something which is undersupplied in the market. But I think now, if somebody has to invest, right? So my shocking thing again for all of you.